Hello, my name is Alexandra, and today I'm going to be talking a bit about sustainability. So, what is sustainability? Environmental sustainability means to create and maintain conditions under which humans and nature can exist in productive harmony and that permit fulfilling the social, economic, and environmental needs of present and future generations. So, in a nutshell, it means preserving our resources for ourselves, for our generation, as well as preserving them for the future generations. Now, why is that important? As we know, sustainability is a subject that has become more and more present in today's society, as we have noticed that our resources aren't infinite. So by continuing to grow and ignore the limit in our resources, we are going to end up using all of them. So now there is a focus to make a shift in this way and to implement measures that help facilitate a sustainable environment in which we reuse our resources. How is it relevant in the music events industry? Well, festivals and music events are like little communities that get formed for a limited period of time. So for a festival, you can have, for example, 10,000 people in the same place for a weekend. That is the perfect environment to test sustainability measures because within that space, you can create the feeling of a community that applies these sustainable measures, and you can see if they work and if people understand them and are willing to work with them. Also, festivals have a high level of production. There are a lot of materials needed to produce a festival. So from building stages to providing food on the festival site, there are a lot of there's a lot of products and a lot of products that are involved. So this would generate a lot of waste if it's not handled in a sustainable way. So it is important for music events to take upon this initiative as well. Also, sustainability was the first topic that we tackled in the production and logistics block, therefore showing how important it has become in this industry and that it's one of the main concerns at the moment. And there are a lot of regulations and laws being made on the sustainability topic to regulate this at festivals. So it is important to know about it, learn about it, and know how to implement it. So the first thing I personally think about when I think about sustainability is the Sustainable Development Goals that were drawn up by the UN. These were drawn up as an initiative to categorize the types of sustainable innovations and areas in which we can have sustainable development. So, for example, we have no poverty. It's about giving people the chance to get out of the poverty line and to have jobs and to earn enough money to be able to make a living. Zero hunger. um, making sure that trying to get rid of the famine problem, as there's a big imbalance in the society. There are people who are struggling to eat, to get by every day, and there are people who are extremely wealthy. So trying to bridge this gap, good health and well-being. So focusing on the health of people, on providing medical care, quality education, is about trying to get all the kids in school and to keep them in school, to give them a fair chance at making a career later in their life and make a living. Gender equality, as we know, until quite recently, there's always been this inequality between men and women, and with the feminist movement, this problem is getting solved more and more, but it's still a goal that can be worked upon. Clean water and sanitation. It's water is one of our most basic needs, so it is important to be able to provide clean water for everybody. So there are initiatives in this way in facilitating clean water for all of us. Affordable and clean energy. Energy is a resource that can be very easily used up in a non-sustainable way. So it is important to try to make a shift in this way and work with renewable energy systems. Decent work and economic growth is about, once again, giving people jobs and therefore increasing the economic growth in a certain country or in a certain continent. Industry, innovation, and infrastructure. So it is important how we build things from the foundation right now. So it is important to innovate not only in the things that are already existing, but on the things that we are building right now as well. Reduce inequalities. This relates a bit to number 5, but it's more about inclusion in general. So about offering the same opportunities for people with handicaps or people of different races, and making them equal in the society. Sustainable cities and communities. This goal is about overall achieving a sustainable environment and system within the society. Responsible consumption and production. This is mostly about reusing the materials, the raw materials that you get from the nature, reusing them in order for them to not go to waste. Climate action. This is about the initiatives made to combat the climate change. As we know, there's been a rising the climate, and this is life-threatening to mankind in general. So it's about the innovations that are being made to prevent the climate change from evolving further. Life below water and life below land, these are pretty self-explanatory. They're about preserving the nature, be it underwater or on land. And peace, justice, and strong institutions and partnerships for the goals. These are more about working together in order to achieve these goals and imposing that these SDGs are implemented in institutions as well, so that people in position of power know they have to apply them. And now the areas of impact that were drawn up by green events, I think, are a great way of visualizing the SDGs in the context of the music events industry. So we have materials. As I said, festivals use a lot of materials for their build-up, so it is important to find a way to source these materials sustainably. So, for example, festivals can use recycled materials, so like cardboard, aluminum, to make decorations for the festival, to make the design for stages. Water. So digital has an innovation on their side regarding water sanitation. They have this concept of P2T. So what happens is that they invite people to urinate in these special places on the festival side, and the urine is taken and it is filtered, and the nutrients are taken out, and they are used to grow plants such as mint, out of which you can make tea afterwards. Energy. So festivals use a lot of energy, especially when they have big screens, when they have a lot of special effects. So it is important to try to make use of the energy as sustainably as possible and provide sustainable sources of energy. So, for example, the energy from the solar panels is something that more and more festivals are using, as well as windmill generated energy. Mobility. So a big part of the CO2 emissions from the festivals actually comes from the mobility. From the artists that have to travel to the festival, either by plane or by car, and also by the visitors. So for what is done for artists most of the time is that when they have to go on flights, they compensate their CO2 emissions by using the sustainable aviation fuel. And for visitors, they are more and more encouraged to use public transport to get to the festival, and festival organizers are making more and more progress in allowing them to do this in a more comfortable way and in an encouraging way. Food and drinks. So there is a lot of food and a lot of drinks that are being sold at festivals. So if they are not sourced sustainably, they could generate a lot of waste. Another thing that digital does is that they have partnerships with supermarkets to use the produce that almost goes bad to prepare the food on the festival ground. Therefore, food that would otherwise be thrown away is now used to prepare the food on the festival. Also, for drinks, um, I've imagine you've already seen this. Um, when you're at a festival and it's the end of the night and the floor is filled with plastic cups. Well, not only is it inconvenient to have to step on all of those plastic cups, but it's actually very damaging to the environment, as all of those cups are thrown away afterwards. So one innovation that has been made in this sense is the hard cup and coin system. So the way it works is that you have a limited amount of hard cups available at a festival, and there is a deposit on those cups. So if you want to get a drink, you have to pay the deposit for the cup. And the purpose is that after you use the cup, you return it so that it can be washed and reused again, therefore generating less waste. Diversity and inclusion. It is important to have a diverse and inclusive environment in festival industry. Festivals choose to implement certain measures to accommodate different target groups. So, for example, a lot of festivals are wheelchair accessible, or they provide support for people with certain handicaps. But also there are festivals dedicated to catering to a specific group in a diverse way. So, for example, the same festival has the purpose of feeling the people from the LGBTQ plus community feel more included and providing them safe and inviting environment. Health and well-being. One thing that is being done right now in the festival industry for health and well-being is providing drug tests on the festival side. So even though most festivals have a zero drug tolerance, they are aware that people are still gonna be using drugs, and so if they do, it's better that they do it in a safe way. So you have the possibility to test the drugs on the festival side to see if they are safe to use or not. And for the planet, I think it's a more overall overarching area which just focuses on general on preserving the nature and the resources that we already have and making use of them cleverly. So another theory that I think is relevant in this industry is the 5 Rs: refuse, reduce, reuse, repurpose, and recycle. So even though this can be used by individuals in their day-to-day life, to give an example, you first refuse to make waste. So um, um, you refuse to buy things that are not necessary, or things that would generate a lot of waste. So like things that are heavily packed, let's say. The next step is reduce. And as we go further down, the preserving method gets a bit worse, in the sense that refuse is the absolute best you can do, and recycle is the less best thing you can do, but it's still a really good sustainable option. So reduce refers to uh, cutting down on things that would generate waste. So you're not refusing everything, but you are reducing the amount of things you are purchasing or doing that generate waste. Reuse is about reusing things that you already have, so not buying or using new things if that is not necessary. Repurposing is taking something that you already have and giving it another purpose, another life, so that it doesn't go to waste. And recycling is just taking something that you have and recycling, letting go through a process in which it can be transformed into something new that can be further on used. So on festivals, what I've seen being done is refusing. So digital, for example, refuses to generate waste, as they have recycling station where all the waste comes in, and it gets sorted, so that there is no general waste. They're refusing to make general waste that cannot be recycled. Reducing, I would say that the cup and coin system is reducing the waste. So the hard cups are still not 100% effective, as they also have the risk of having to be thrown out if they get a lot of damages. But they're for sure generating less plastic waste than the normal soft cups that are usually being used. Reuse can be, for example, reusing the same decoration for multiple festivals, or for the same festivals multiple years in a row. So generating a new decor can have a lot of new materials involved, and that is not a very sustainable way of making decor. So reusing things that have already been used is much more sustainable option. Repurposing, this, for example, can be something that I've seen at Digital. They use the plastic wrappers from the ice cream lollipops to make decorations for the festival, because these plastic wrappers cannot be recycled, so they have to be used in another way. And the recycling, again, the recycling station, that's where all the waste comes in, and it gets sorted out so that it can be properly be recycled, so it can be processed and be turned into something new. So another model that I would like to talk about is the linear economy versus the circular economy. So until recently, we used to have this linear economy. So for the longest time, we would use this economy model in our society, which the process goes that you take resources from within nature, you take raw materials, you process them, you make something out of them, you use them, and then when once you're done with using them, you dispose of them, you throw them out, and they just go to waste. They go in the trash landfills. And so as you take more materials and you make more things, you generate more waste. And the problem is that we've been doing this for such a long time that right now it's becoming more and more of a problem, as there is not an infinite um, supply of raw materials that we can use, and the waste is getting so much more increasing that we don't even know how to handle it anymore. And if we keep using the economy, we're just gonna end up using up all of our materials and resources. So an economy model that has been used recently, has only been starting being used recently, is the circular economy, which has some of the same steps as the linear economy. So you take the raw materials, you design something, you produce it, you sell it, then it gets used. If it breaks down, if there's a malfunction to it, you try to repair it, or and you reuse it. And when that product is no longer of use to you, so you can repurpose it or reuse it, it gets collected and then it gets recycled, so that this thing that has been created from raw materials turns into a material as well that can be used for other things. So this model is more about like creating the products. So it's simply the process of creating something and then recycling it, but on a larger scale, in the larger scheme of things. This reminds me of the donut economy. So the donut economy is economical model that has been drawn up by Harvard graduate who also identified this problem that the linear economy is something that we've been using for the longest time, and that it's becoming more and more of a problem as we're running out of resources really fast. And for the longest time, it was believed that growth leads to great things. Growth is never a bad thing, especially in the economical aspect, and that by continuing to grow, things will sort each other out eventually. But this didn't happen. So we have to rethink the way we look at our economy and the way we deal with these matters. So there's the green band in the middle. That is the ideal place where we want to be in the society, the safe and just place for humanity. In the inner circle is the aspect regarding social sustainability and social justice. So we have health, food, water, energy, networks, housing, gender equality, social equality, political voice, peace and justice, income and work, and education. What happens is that we've seen that there's a big gap between the social classes in the world. So a lot of people are on the shortfall in the social foundation. So they don't get their basic needs met. And this affects the whole donut that we are trying to achieve. So one of the first steps that need to be taken is to make sure that these needs of the people are accommodated so that they can go back to the green circle. And on the outer part, there are the environmental aspects of sustainability. So ocean acidification, chemical pollution, nitrogen and phosphorus loading, freshwater withdrawals, land conversion, biodiversity loss, air pollution, ozone layer depletion, and climate change. So this outer circle refers to the fact that we overshoot our resources. We use what we are given from the nature in an irresponsible way, and it had negative effects on our planet, on our ecosystems, and the way for us to get to the ideal place is to make changes and innovations to reduce these negative environmental impacts. And I think that this is a model that is going to be used more and more in our society. I know for a fact that Amsterdam is already working on using this internally within the space of the city. So it's like testing it out in a smaller community and society. And I think it will surely be implemented all over the world as the staple economy that we should follow and use. And this was my knowledge clip. I hope it was insightful. So I think that sustainability is a huge part of the event industry right now, and learning about sustainability is not something that should be a choice anymore. It should be a need, because otherwise we're gonna run out of resources, and the process is already dangerously irreversible. So the sooner we start making a change, the sooner we can see positive results and hopefully improve the overall quality of life and the way we use and think about our resources.